What's up, guys? Brian with BS Bassin here, and today what I want to talk to you about is tubes. We probably all throw them. They're extremely universal. You can walk them, skip them, drop them, you can pop them, crawl them across the bottom, and you know, they're just such an effective tool that you can have in your arsenal. And with this fall bite coming on, and maybe if you're doing some smallie fishing, they're extremely effective. Largemouth bass are not as common for largemouth bass, but you would be surprised. So if you're not throwing them for largemouths yet, you need to start doing that. And one way that you can do that for the largemouth that seems to be very effective is the Texas rigging. I'm not going to go through that today, but what I want to show you is some products from Get Bit Baits. Extremely impressed with their products. The tubes that I throw, the only tubes I will throw, are Get Bit Baits. They're phenomenal. And what I want to show you is, so here's our 4-inch, I had a weight stuck in it, our 4-inch tube, okay? So this tube is pretty, you know, it's pretty dense. It's got some nice body to it, and then it's also, it's got some weight to it, so you could really cast this thing out there. So if you're searching for fish, this is a very nice one to throw. And you could rig it multiple ways, but one of the ways I really like to rig this one is weedless. And some people say, well, what do you mean weedless rigging a tube? So a standard tube hook looks like that. You insert it in the back of the body all the way to the front, and then you pop out the top. Okay, so you guys see that? You get the eye out the top and whatnot. The thing about this is, I find that it may not be as effective with hook sets, and it's not as weedless. And in the fall season, you know that all your weeds are dying, so you get a lot of that muck caught on your lure. So another way to rig it is one of these hooks. Okay, this is a weedless tube hook. I really like them. One of the reasons I like these also is because it's fall. Those zebra mussels are pretty built up in the lake, and what's going to happen is you're going to get snagged on those and trying to pop it through there a lot. Sometimes you bend your hook up. This one here, it's got a pretty thick hook on it. All right, so it's extremely sharp though. This is a Mustad hook on this one. It's a custom, you know, hand poured, you know, not a big brand name or anything. But so to rig this weedless, what I want to do is I'm going to wet the head on it. I'm going to insert it through the body. Whoop, wrong way there. We're actually going to go hook first. Okay, so opposed to the other way, that's the way you would standard rig one. We're going to put the hook through the body all the way to the front of the lure. We're going to poke out the bottom there. Now the head of the thing is going through the back of the body, and we're going to bring it all the way up there, and it's going to flip around 180 once we get up there. So you see we're starting to turn it. And once you make that turn, you're going to pop the eye through the top of the head. Hopefully you can see that there. That way you could tie it on. Now, you're going to insert this through the back of the body. What some people will do on this, let me get it in there, they'll leave the hook in the body like that itself. All right, now when a fish bites and you go to set the hook, it will tear through. Let me try to get a vision. You can see the hook's poking there. When you rip that hook, there you can see it, hopefully right around my fingernail. You can see that poke through. All right, the other way to do it is actually set it kind of like that. Come around the body. So we've got the hook here. I'll pull it completely out. All right, so you see our hook sticking out to the side there. We're going to come over the body and then push in, just like if you're rigging a weedless worm. Get some, oh, excuse me, some of the skirt material out of the way here. And now, very similar to if it was actually in the body, the hook is right under this dip here. So it's very weedless. You're not going to get a lot of that dead grass on it. You're not going to get a lot of dead seaweed, etc. on your lure, or hydrilla, etc. 4-inch tube by Get Bit Baits, phenomenal. This is, I believe, green pumpkin, red flake, or watermelon red flake. Same color. Now this is my favorite one. This is the original 2.75 tube. by Get Bit Baits. Okay, so you can see the size difference here. Let me pull that 4-inch one back. All right. So I got the one on your probably your left. I don't know. The shorter one is the 2.75 original tube. Now what I like about this tube is it's still dense like that 4-inch one. So it's kind of like what their double dipped tubes are. And this one here already has a standard tube hook in it. I really like that. Okay, but what I want to show you is one thing that some people don't know about is Get Bit Baits also sells their own tube hooks. So let me pull this out here. Very rigid hook here as well. So this is the hook by Get Bit Baits. All right, it's short, and I really like that for their shorter tubes because I throw that 2.75 most of the time, and this has a shorter shank on the hook and very effective. I usually throw 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce. In the high winds, you may want to throw up to a 3/8, even a 1/2 ounce. Now you got to determine that 1/2 ounce on your depth of water. Okay, I say the 3/8 in a little bit shallower water, 15 feet less. But if you got to throw it out there in that 15 feet or more, I definitely go with that 1/2 ounce when you're in some heavier wind. Another tube that they make is the tiny tube. Now this one to me is a finesse style tube. So this tube here is even shorter and definitely not as wide of a body as the 2.75 original tube. And this tube is not nearly as dense. See how that is? It's a thin wall, opposed to this 2.75 is thicker. Now this tube here is going to be nicer for finesse fishing. I feel like this tube can give off a little bit more, you know, on a drop shot. This is going to give off a little bit more action like that, opposed to this tube's only going to have action all the way at the end of it with the tails, okay? So definitely want to throw these out there. Check them out, getbitbaits.com. They're definitely the best tubes that you guys are going to get your hands on. The selection of colors is phenomenal. I'm typically throwing green pumpkin, watermelon, black, and actually like a white with a flake in it. Kind of repeats like a shad color. And that one I swim. I've actually caught some 16-inch crappie on these tubes before, swimming them, trying to catch bass, kind of getting it out of the weeds, and then just bouncing, swimming it through back to the boat once I come out of the cover that I was fishing. But like I said, one of the things you want to look at that weedless hook, okay, guys? And then don't limit yourself with the tube. Don't just throw a standard tube hook in there, all right? A standard tube hook's kind of long, so on that 2.75, get a hold of Get Bit Baits, get that shorter shank hook. 3/16, 1/4 ounce is perfect for it. The 1/2 ounce I really don't recommend on the 2.75. I'd probably be throwing more of a 3.5 on that one. But phenomenal lures and definitely quick customer service. Do not hesitate to give them a call. Thank you.